Hey, welcome to Sticking to Kayfabe. My name's Anthony,
Trent.
and this is another edition to our show. We're just gonna be talking, really nothing set to talk about. Really, we're just kind of just gonna say what's on our mind today, and shoot from the hip, pretty much. I'm gonna go with a little hot take right now.
Okay.
Ruthless aggression, in my opinion, was a better era than the Attitude Era. It provided a lot more versatility with talent. In my opinion, more main event stars. You had Triple H, HBK, even though he was still he was towards the end of his career.
How
John
long was
Cena,
the Ruthless Aggression era?
02 to 05.
Oh, so it was like a 3-year period.
I think so. I really, I don't know. I was really maybe it was because of the era I was born in. I was more with the ruthless aggression, but there was a lot. I felt, in my opinion, a lot more stars in that era. You had John Cena, you had Edge, you had Batista, you had Brock Lesnar, you had Rey Mysterio, you had Eddie Guerrero, you had Triple H, Shawn Michaels, you had Christian, you had what else did they have? Undertaker, Kane.
Those were all Attitude Era guys, right?
Well, they're all Attitude Era, but just the whole in general.
I'm talking about like Cena, Batista, Orton.
Or Randy Orton, you know.
Orton was Ruthless Aggression, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Then you had like Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar for that short period.
And then
Eddie Guerrero. You had.
Yeah.
As Eddie Guerrero, even though he was popular, he wasn't mainstream until the Ruthless.
He was a mid-card guy for a long time.
So he became really popular during that era. You know, same thing with Rey Mysterio. Like, even though he was there beforehand, he really took, shape in the Ruthless Aggression era. You know, we had all the introduction of the Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank. You had pretty much solid WrestleManias during that time too. So, in my honest opinion, I believe the Ruthless Aggression era was way better than the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's the same thing, honestly. I think it's just a segue. They're both, the Attitude Era is just a segue into the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah,
it's basically the same thing to me. I feel like that's just one big long timeline of like wrestling where you're, damn it,
yeah,
where it's the same. It's basically the same. Son of a,
there we are.
God. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Of course. Basically, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era all blends into me. It's all basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I for a lot of people, like toting the whole Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Dominic Mysterio thing, I thought that was trash. I thought it was garbage. The story.
Oh,
the Poppy one.
That
is the dumbest story I've ever seen in wrestling.
Dude, no, hell no.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And, now we have to deal with Dominic Mysterio in WWE because of this.
No.
And
that storyline.
No, it was basically a freaking Maury show. You could watch that on TV on Channel 26 or your local stations on Jerry Springer. And it's garbage.
Probably one of the best storylines I've ever seen. You can't tell me that character work was one of the best character works of Eddie Guerrero's career.
No, his best one was when he went against Lesnar.
Oh, that's the best one. I said one of the best. That's the best one.
No, I am the type of person who is, if it's fake as hell, I don't like it. It's stupid as hell. Be real. The best storylines are about reality, blurring the lines between reality and
fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree on that part. It's almost because remember when they did it, kayfabe was still alive and well, so you actually thought that was true, though.
Yeah, but to me, it was more like a freaking Jerry Springer show.
Yeah.
And I'm not into Jerry Springer. If I want to watch Jerry Springer, I'll go watch Jerry Springer on 26 local time at 2:00 p.m. after school.
Right. Yeah. I enjoyed that one. I think honestly, one of the worst things that could happen to WWE, the worst booking decision was to make Jinder Mahal champion.
Who the heck is Jinder Mahal?
Jinder, you don't know Jinder Mahal?
No. Oh, Jinder Mahal, the 3MB guy.
Yes.
Dude, that's how bad of a champion he is. I don't even know. I don't even remember who he is.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal. We haven't seen him in a long time.
Is he even in WWE?
Yeah, he's still in WWE. He's in the main event.
I'm sorry, but that was all a cash grab by Vince McMahon to go overseas in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
and Pakistan and all that. You know, he didn't care who he could have put freaking the Great Hot Dog out there. The Great Khali.
I will give Great Khali something. Whenever they first booked him, he was intimidating. Don't get me wrong. Now, hindsight, we could have thought that he was just boring. He could have,
You could have put a wooden plank out there, and you would have more charisma than the Great Khali.
Personality. Yeah, it was terrible.
But yeah, it's all a cash grab. Vince McMahon only cares about one thing, and that's his business. And he could crap on wrestling all he wants, as long as his business is doing well. And that's just the mainstay. I mean, he did a good job of making a lot of money, but what did it do for the wrestling?
Yeah, another thing is too, I heard that this is gonna be the last year for freaking Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Good.
The next year they're gonna change it with Extreme Rules to War Games.
Why do I want to watch War Games once a year?
Because War Games, have you not seen?
I've seen War Games, but like once a year, and there's no. That's a stupid booking decision. Let me tell you why.
Why?
It makes no sense. You have a War Games. When you do a gimmick match, there's high stakes. What are you gonna do when the stakes are so low? Like Texas Deathmatch, cage match. Cage match is iffy, you know. Like I could get with that, but like Texas Deathmatch, like when you do these gimmick matches,
yeah,
it's supposed to be high stakes. Like you have to want to. So say like you and I were wrestling, right? Yeah. Hypothetically. And we're just so ticked off at each other, and we're so like pissed off at each other that we would go to any lengths to basically, you know, destroy each other and hurt each other. That's when you put a War Games or a Texas Death Match, because the stakes are so high. Like we hate each other. Yeah. When you just have a gimmick match just for the sake of having a gimmick match, it diminishes it.
And I get what you're saying, and I totally agree, because that's what they did with the Elimination Chamber and Hell in a Cell and all these gimmick pay-per-views. I agree. Obviously, we still have time to see, but I don't think Triple H was just making a gimmick match just to make it a gimmick. I think he was actually going to put some weight behind it.
We'll see. I don't have any faith in wrestling today.
Yeah, with everything that's going on in the wrestling,
everything that's going on, everything is so watered down. Everything is so. Oh, we're gonna top what we did last time. Mm-hmm. That it's all about money. It's not about the stakes that are at hand. And I'm sorry to say, for those of you that love that match, the start of all of this was Mankind versus Undertaker, because now you have all these freaking backyard wrestlers who have no talent going out there and trying to replicate what Mankind did, and ruining the wrestling business even further.
Not only that, They're doing all this stupid shit where they're doing freaking off the table barbed wire matches
for
for
no
no first
reason.
pop. They're not gonna remember it. It's
No,
all for pop, and it's all stupid shit. Like,
yeah, it all started in 1997 when Mankind decided. I don't think what's his name, Mick Foley, knew what he was doing. Well, I know he knew what he was doing, but at the same time, he didn't know the repercussions of his actions at the time. Because now we have all these garbage matches and all these garbage backyard wrestlers and keyboard warriors trying to replicate this and hurting themselves for $5 a pop, just so they can get a cheap pop and ruin their bodies and be stupid.
For no reason.
Like watching an episode of Jackass just for the sake of it.
It's not that the fact that Mankind did it wrong, because he did it sparingly when it mattered, but then people abuse it now. Yeah. Maybe an introduction to ECW, possibly.
Yeah,
that started all of it. But yeah, these people just like I see every day. I see new people doing new shit.
You have that pizza dough guy.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that? Like, kick his butt.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You're seeing all these joke wrestlers out there, and it's diminishing the product, and it's making it stupid, all for the sake of show business. And yeah. I have no qualms against Shawn Michaels. No qualms. I think he's a great wrestler. But the reason we have people that are doing ballet moves is mostly because they're trying to replicate Shawn Michaels. It's not Shawn Michaels' fault, and I'm not saying it's his fault, but people are trying so hard to replicate that now you have super kick parties, you have ballet dancers out there, gymnastics moves, and it looks so stupid. When Shawn Michaels did it, it may have looked pretty, but at the same time, he did it with a purpose.
Yeah, people just do stuff because when I was watching WWE Rivals, they were talking about it when they did the moves. Everything had like you said, a purpose. It wasn't just to do it just for the sake of it. Everything had a purpose and why he was doing the move. That's why Bret Hart is arguing him and Shawn Michaels are 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
When it comes to wrestling, 1A and 1B.
Bret Hart, turnbuckles. Whew.
Man, he's one of the best sellers of all time.
He looked like he was getting. He might have. Wrestling hurts, but the force that he was hitting those turnbuckles and things, that looked like they could injure somebody.
Yeah.
And we've gone away from that. The last time I saw like someone hit the turnbuckles was a Dax Hardwood match.
Yeah.
He hit that turnbuckle like it was a train wreck.
So no, a thought kind of popped up in my head.
What's up?
Is the era of bookers dying? Like Triple H, okay.
Triple H isn't a booker. As much as we want to say that he's doing a good job right now, he's not a booker. My point is, a booker is someone who takes the talent and puts. It's hard to explain to you, and it's hard for me to get it out. There's a difference between someone who can manage a wrestling promotion that other than a booker. You have a booker. A booker's job is basically, okay, I have 8 wrestlers. I have top guy, main event, guys are chasing him. Then you have your heels and your baby faces.
Yeah.
And then you have your tag matches. A booker is supposed to look at that and be like, what is going to draw the most money? And how can I create a story? It doesn't matter how a wrestler gets there. The wrestler will get there. They write their own promos. They go off the script. Triple H, on the other hand, in my opinion, I don't know for sure, is not that hands-on. He says who's going to win, but I don't know if he's an idea guy. bookers are idea guys. Like you have your Dusty Rhodes and your all that. Dusty Rhodes would come up with gimmicks for people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let them have their creative freedom. And then you have your opposite end of the stick where you have Vince McMahon, who was too hands-on. I don't think he was a booker. He should have just been in the back because he became too hands-on. He was like Jerry Jones. And then now you have Tony Khan, who doesn't know how to book a backyard wrestling match. And to me, bookers are in a state of emergency. Triple H is going to do a good job, I think. We'll see, but he's not your classic booker.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. He's not a classic booker.
Yeah, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. You're saying he's not a booker. I'm like, what do you mean he's not a booker? He is a booker. He doesn't have that. But his booking is a lot more, I feel, more modernized.
Yeah.
It's made for the modern public.
But the problem with modern booking is what's going to happen when all these great minds die out.
Yeah.
Because you're already seeing it in AEW.
Uh-huh.
And you're already seeing how bad it can get. These guys like Cornette and JR and all these bookers, like Dusty already passed, all these guys they're not young anymore.
And Dusty, also, the cool thing about Dusty is when you look at the top stars for WWE right now, his handprints are on them.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, obviously his son Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, all those people. They all were
Dusty's product.
Because the thing is, another thing is, I love Triple H. I know he's going to do a good job for this simple reason. He wants ideas from other people.
Mm-hmm. That's good and bad thing. That's a good and bad thing to me.
Whenever he was running the Black and Gold NXT, he had Dusty with him.
Mm-hmm.
And William Regal.
Oh, he did have Dusty?
Yes.
Then he might be someone who learned booking from him. So I actually have a lot of, if that's the case, then I have a lot of faith that Triple H knows what he's doing.
Triple H had Dusty.
And
he
Regal.
Had Regal. He has Shawn Michaels.
Some Michaels,
he has a pretty solid crew around him to make sure. Obviously, Dusty's not around anymore, but I'm pretty sure whenever he was running the Black and Gold,
Dusty probably passed on a lot of knowledge to Triple H. Then, if that's the case, I rescind my statement that Triple H is not a classic booker, and it's good to see that someone actually learned from because Dusty learned from let me look that up. Is that okay if I look that up?
Yeah, that's fine. While you're doing that, let me talk. But too bad Dusty Rhodes isn't alive, because one of the things that AEW can really use is Dusty Rhodes. You know what I mean? Dusty Rhodes was a freaking smart mind. He was responsible for a lot of shit in the past. Dusty Rhodes is, in my opinion, a top 20 guy, in my opinion. And I'm almost positive Dusty Rhodes helped Triple H whenever he was in the Gold brand, when it first started.
I'm trying to find out where he so where did Dusty learn his booking? So you have Bill Dundee, who was a great Bill Dundee was a great booker. Then you had Jim Crockett. I think Crockett taught
Dusty.
Crockett taught Cornette.
Yeah.
He might have also Dusty Rhodes. Okay, so Dusty Rhodes. I think he learned from Crockett. He might have learned from Crockett, but I want to be 100% sure. I don't want to have any the.
What's your opinion on Bruce Pritchard?
He's part of that Attitude Era.
Yeah.
I don't dig him. I don't dig because he's part of that Vince Russo crew,
Yeah.
and I don't like it. So,
You hear about MJF though?
We the ones.
Oh, is the bloodline?
That was just him putting his hand up.
You know that symbolizes, right?
He might the bloodline. Could be. He could be like throwing shade at the fans. I'm trying to figure it out. The only way I could figure it out is if we listen to a clip of Cornette, but I don't want to do that. Okay. Wikipedia might. So you keep talking. Keep talking about whatever you want.
But yeah, no, one of the biggest things is you gotta I think honestly Triple H might be the last breed of the being a booker. Tony Khan isn't a booker.
No, he's a basement booker.
There's the difference between a fan telling everything what to do and a booker. Tony Khan don't know what he's doing. He can't build a story to say he's relying so much on wrestling right now. He doesn't know how to book properly. But I do truly believe Triple H might be Triple H might be the last real booker
for right now.
For now, I can see Rhodes doing it.
Cody Rhodes, his dad is. I can see Dustin Rhodes doing it.
Yeah,
those two are great wrestling minds. They come from Dusty Rhodes. I can't find. I'm pretty sure it was just a multitude of people, but Jim Crockett probably was the big one.
Yeah,
it could have been other people, but it is what it is. But like, yeah, dude, we're in the age that wrestling is watered down. It's very watered down, and here's hoping that Triple H does know what he's doing. I think part of the reason Cody left, and this is just speculation on my part, I don't know what goes behind the scenes, is that he wanted to be a booker.
Yes.
And Tony, being Tony, wanted to be Booker of the Year. And when you have people like the EVPs, the other three, who couldn't wrestle themselves out of a paper bag, you have a lot of, and then you have a lot of like, I'm sorry to say, when AEW started, that was all underneath talent that was never going to draw anything.
Mm-hmm.
And you had like 4 guys, and then your young guys, and then the rest of it was just garbage. And you're basically an indie promotion on a national scale.
Yeah.
And the moment that you had great storylines and you were building something, because of your lack of a backbone and a lack of managing, that's the great thing about Triple H, and I'm pretty sure he could manage egos.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not like him, but you know, he can manage egos. And
respected too.
Mm-hmm. You have all these young guys in AEW who don't listen. And now everybody, look, CM Punk was wrong for what he did.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's an old, I keep reiterating, he is an old school mind. He may have an ego. I'm still a fan of him, and I'm admitting this. I'm a mark for CM Punk. Ask my brother over here.
Oh, I know.
This guy got me back into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
He was wrong for belittling people, for belittling and calling out these guys. I admit it. I've been thinking about it the last few days. He was wrong in a lot of ways. But he's an old school guy. He's going to clash with a lot of these young new school guys who don't listen. Look at our generation, dude. They don't listen. They don't want anybody's advice. We don't want anybody's advice. And the moment a guy like that comes in, you already heard what these people have said about JR, about Cornette, about they don't listen to William Regal. You have Mark Henry back there. You have all of these great wrestling minds, Big Show, all these greats, and you don't listen to them. And the moment CM Punk was the only one that had any cojones to say exactly what all of these people are probably, all these older generation guys are probably feeling.
Yeah.
And
supposedly a lot of the no, it's just a lot of I guess there were some rumors coming out that people were happy or that want CM Punk gone because what they would say is he would offer advice and be pissed off when you wouldn't take it.
Yeah, wouldn't you? Because I want the show to look. I want my show to. I'm on a show, right? I am okay. So I'm the star. I'm the star actor.
Yep.
And I'm offering you advice, and you're going to go out there and put on a crap show.
Yep.
I'm going to give you advice, and if you don't take it, it's like, why are you here? Do you want wrestling to be better, or do you want it to be an indie sideshow?
Yeah.
To be honest, these people like the smell of their own farts and won't take any advice from anyone. I'd be mad too. I mean, a lot of people hate Edward Norton, the actor, because he is like that, where he wants things to be good. And if they're not good, he will be mad about it. That's a perfectionist mind. And sometimes you need people complained that Bret Hart took himself too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the state of wrestling today.
Yeah.
More people should take themselves more seriously. Then we wouldn't have these people who can't wrestle.
One of the things I think the art of pro wrestling is dying is a lot more sports entertainer now. There's only a handful of guys who are professional wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now it's more
getting the cheapest pop.
Yes. And I think that was what you were talking about a couple of weeks ago, trying to allude to is the art of professional wrestling is dying, but the role that's taking place is sports entertainer. No.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
Look, okay, you've seen Gladiator.
Yes.
So when he first fights, he just slaughters everybody, right?
Yes.
And everybody cheers. He's like, "Are you not entertained?" and throws a sword. What did the guy who earned his freedom? What did he say to Max? Do you remember what he said to Maximus?
I had never seen this.
You want to earn their respect. You want to earn their. The reason why he was freed is because he earned the crowd's appreciation. He earned it. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't a cheap thing. He earned it, and the people loved him no matter what.
Yep.
That's the way wrestling should be. But we have all of these guys who don't know what they're doing. Look, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a booker. I'm not anything. And I have a lot more common sense than half of these people. Like,
one of the things is, and I think you're going to kind of agree with me, as much as I like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, I don't really enjoy their matches as much as Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Those 3 matches that they had. Mm-hmm. It's because I want my story to be amazing, but I want the climax to be the wrestling. I want the wrestling match to be good.
Do you remember any of you remember the tractor?
Well, the tractor was cool and everything.
But that was a cheap pop. That's a cheap pop.
Like I say SummerSlam was good. SummerSlam was good. I remember that one. But I don't remember WrestleMania.
I don't remember the Falls Count Anywhere. Because at the end of the day it was just a
Falls Count Anywhere. Oh, Last Man Standing?
Yeah, Last Man Standing, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember it because it was just such a sideshow.
Yeah.
It didn't. it didn't like you had these guys back in the day who captured your imagination.
Yeah.
You had these guys who, why do you think CM Punk is so over?
Yeah.
He won the adulation of the crowd. He won it. He earned the crowd's respect.
Yeah.
Why do you think, as much as we dislike Hulk Hogan and his matches are garbage, it's probably not a good example. Why do you think people liked Ric Flair?
Because he made everything believable.
Made everything believable. Why do you think people loved Dusty Rhodes? He was the underdog. He earned the love of the crowd.
The epitome of good versus evil.
Yes, people like that, or Brett, or Sean, or all these guys from back in the day, and the few that we have now, like the FTR. The FTR is so over, and as much as people don't want to admit it, how did they get over? Because they're not sports entertainers.
Yeah.
They're real. People, do we remember do you remember anything from Big Daddy V?
No, just his gimmicks.
Do you remember
how many gimmicks has he has? Big Daddy V, Viscera,
Chocolate? Was it Chocolate?
no, I thought that was Mark Henry's.
Really?
Yeah, he's the
Sexual Chocolate or something?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Do you remember? Okay, so honestly, do you remember, other than Boogeyman's Worms thing, do you remember anything else about him?
No, that's it.
That's all you remember. Yeah. These guys are not gonna be. You're not gonna be remembered. Who do we remember?
We remember Undertaker because he was a professional wrestler first. Then his gimmick came after.
Yeah, but it's also he had longevity. He had memorable matches. He had memorable feuds. Look, I don't remember him. I never looked at him as being dead.
Yes.
I don't even remember any of that. I remember Undertaker as a great wrestler, and a great storyteller.
Yep.
I remember when you hear wrestling, you hear Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, you hear all of these guys that are going to be remembered, Pedro Morales, and things like, the younger generation doesn't really know. Luthez, he hasn't moved named after him. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Brett, Dean Malenko, Brett,
Chris Jericho and stuff.
Chris Jericho, all of these guys you're going to remember. Are you going to remember someone like Pockets 20 years from now?
For the moment, he's cool, but he won't be after that.
Are you going to remember, as much as I think Danhausen's funny, are you going to remember him? Unless he's like an internet personality. No, you're not going to remember. You're going to remember the modern. You're going to remember, for better or worse, Kenny Omega and them.
Yeah.
At least I am, because
I don't even think so. On a cultural stand base, nobody's gonna remember Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
It's the internet fans that are gonna remember them.
Internet fans, yeah, but everybody knows who Triple H is. Everybody knows who Undertaker is. Everybody knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is. Everybody pretty much knows CM Punk. The Rock, Kane, Mick Foley, John Cena, Randy Orton. They all know those guys. Yeah. They're all wrestlers.
Let me ask you this. You've seen movies where superhero movies. They just throw all these characters in for no good reason. Yeah. Do you enjoy that?
That's Justice League right there.
But what is it? It's a cheap way to make money.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with anything: wrestling, sports, music. If you're just doing it to do it, so you can earn a cheap buck for that day, instead of trying to grow it's like, we could sit here and talk about how bad CM Punk is all day for a cheap pop, for a cheap 2 seconds of fame. but we're not going to be remembered.
Yeah.
We'll be one of the hundreds and thousands of people that are talking about, ooh, CM Punk's a bad guy or the Young Bucks are bad guys. What lasts is good storytelling and and being real. And it's just irritating, and that's why wrestling's watered down right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Wrestling is watered down in terms of professional wrestling. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the topic for today is professional wrestling watered down for the sports entertainer.
Yeah.
Some people like for sports entertainers more than professional wrestlers, but
when you could blur the line of sports entertainer and professional wrestler, when you could, because sports entertainer is kind of a stupid term, because pro wrestlers could be sports entertainers if they can tell a story.
Yeah.
I'm not talking like if you're a good storyteller, you're a good storyteller. It doesn't matter if you're claimed to be a professional wrestler or a sports entertainer.
But yeah, but I think that's pretty much what we're gonna end this one off of. Is I think we're pretty much in agreement on this one. It's definitely the sports entertainer, and there's a whole lot of things that need to be improved. So, but yeah, not a whole lot of news just went on this week with wrestling. Where CM Punk, they're still waiting on the third party investigation. He had your SmackDown, he had everything that's going on with AEW in the world. So pretty much nothing too crazy.
I think what we're gonna start doing is just talking about wrestling. We don't have to talk about shows or things like that. Let's just keep it real, what we want to talk about. If people want to watch, they want to watch. If they don't, well, we're still having a good time, right?
Yep, exactly. So my name is Anthony.
I'm Trent. Don't forget to like.
Kayfabe. Bye.
Bye.